Welcome to this very special episode of the Live Healthy Now podcast. Today we're celebrating 1 whole year of the podcast. I can't believe that a full year has passed since I launched the podcast, and what a year it's been. When I decided to start the podcast, I was naturally very apprehensive. Like, what if I didn't know what to talk about after a few episodes? What if I couldn't get guests? What if I couldn't manage the tech on my own, or the workload that went with all of the editing and so on? I felt very nervous. It was huge and felt like it was maybe a bit too much for me to take on. But I've been an avid podcast fan myself for a few years, and it really did feel like the right thing to do to reach more people, to connect with new people, and to drive change in people's lives so they could feel the benefits right across their lives from living healthier. I knew it was the right thing to do, and I'm so pleased that I did take a chance and went for something that was completely new, different, and challenging and very scary, because here I am 1 year later celebrating our first Live Healthy Now birthday. So happy birthday to us. So today, in this little episode, I thought we'd take a trip down memory lane, and I'm going to kind of summarise what we've heard and learned over the past year and 53 episodes. So I know you're wondering, how can I bring a whole year's worth of content, which I try to count up, and I think it's somewhere about 42 hours worth, in this little shorty episode. But when I started to think about it, it was actually easier to pull it together and summarise than what I thought it was going to be. The common thread throughout just about every single episode, whether it's been one of our fantastic guest experts or with a friend sharing their real life story, is this: your life becomes so much more full and happier when you take control of it through your habits and lifestyle. Now, I've looked back over all of the conversations and topics we've covered, and this is the takeaway from all of them. To put it simply, when you take care of yourself to build strong health and well-being, you thrive in your life. So I'm going to give you that one conclusion again, so listen carefully. Your life becomes so much more full and happier when you take control of it through your habits and lifestyle. So today, in this special birthday episode, I'm going to take you on a little journey to show you how this happens. It's like a story, but you already know the ending. I've given you, the ending just there. Now you just need to hear the tale itself so you understand the ending and feel satisfied that it's the right ending to have. Because you know that feeling when you watch a great film and then it finishes and you leave a little bit empty and lost, thinking, oh, is that it? Like that film with Harry Styles. I can't remember what it's called, but when it ended, I was kind of like, right, okay, I really enjoyed the film, but not sure what this ending is here. So I want you to have one of those endings where you feel satisfied, the story, the plot has led you to absolutely the right conclusion. And that conclusion is how amazing your life is when you take control of it by building the right healthy habits. So you have a lifestyle that supports you and you're thriving. That's the story we're going to go on and get to the ending of today. So our story begins, like all good stories, with the main character, who will name you. So it begins when you don't feel like life is quite the way it should be. You feel like you're meant to be living it differently somehow, but you're not sure what to do to change it. You don't even know exactly what's wrong and what needs to be different. Maybe there's a few things you're aware of, but you're not quite sure what it needs to look like to feel the way you wish it would feel. But you know that this one life you have isn't meant to be quite so tiring, exhausting, overwhelming, challenging, confusing. But you stay where you are, even though it isn't how you want to feel. You stay in your comfort zone, even though it's affecting your happiness and life fulfillment. You see, for most people, they only take steps to change when they've been pushed into it. Maybe through a huge life change like redundancy, divorce or separation, ill health of themselves or a family member, or something else such as burnout or a mental health problem, or even losing a family member or loved one, or maybe having a major health scare themselves. You wish things could be different, but life's so busy and there's not enough time in your day to even think about what it is you really want, let alone actually start doing something new to change it from how it is right now. And this is what we've heard from so many of our guests over the past 12 months. In fact, maybe from all of them in one way or another. Whether they're the expert chatting to us about their area of knowledge and expertise, such as Ashley on trauma, April on burnout, Gabby on cancer, Meg on happiness, Anneli on Hashimoto's disease, Hilary on blood sugar, Tom on self-doubt and compassion, Kerry on career, Anna on menopause and HRT, Jana on self-hypnosis, Laura on brain health. Or maybe it's the friend or peer I've loved chatting with and bringing to the podcast, who've shared their real life story in health, like my friend Victoria, talking about finding what would help her to stay strong and healthy as she spent months in hospital with her 1-year-old daughter after she was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. Carol, who drank daily for so many years and finally gave up drinking alcohol after realising the risk she was to herself and her family. Casey, who fought cancer 3 times and now helps other women to build their resilience and stay strong during and after cancer treatment. Or my partner, Kev, who happens to have remained top of the leaderboard since he aired back in February, which he's very proud of. Kev shared how he struggled with imposter syndrome and the negative effects this had on his physical, mental and emotional health, as well as his happiness. And what happens to each and every person we've spoken to from this list and more, and what we've heard in the advice they've shared, is that when you decide to change your life, which often does come because you're forced or pushed into it through one of those circumstantial type changes in your life, you feel scared and unsure, but you want it because you can't or don't want to go on as you have been. For some, it's 100% about survival, like Kat or Sarah, who both shared their stories of such unimaginable loss and grief. Or maybe it's Nikki, Rebecca and Sarah, who each were so afraid and lost because they didn't know what was happening to them and why they felt the way they did as they navigated into perimenopause. So suddenly you have a force driving you, making you take that first step to change, to do it differently. The right time you were waiting for didn't happen, but something else came along that shifted you into first gear. And then this is where the change takes place. It's where the magic happens. You take steps forward in a new direction. You're unsure, but you know you have to keep moving forward. You're learning, exploring, building courage, confidence, competence. You feel in control, and it feels good. It might not be easy. Definitely not at the start. Change never is. Change of any type. We're human and we survive by staying the same, not changing the status quo and putting us into harm's way. Our brain likes to know exactly what we're doing and where we are and what's going on to keep us safe and protect us from any danger. Now remember, I'm in the story mode here. This is a story and you is the main character. Okay. So then what follows is you feel good because you're controlling the way you live. You're going about life with intention, choosing what to do to give you the result that you want. And it's all about this way you want to feel in your life. So that's the result you're trying to keep moving forward on this new path towards. You create feelings of self-worth and build belief that you can make it different. You can live the way you've been dreaming of, or maybe even striving so hard for, without focus or real intention. And this creates ripples of so many positive things which change your mindset. You believe you can, whatever the can is. You gain confidence, which gives you momentum to keep moving forward. Keep believing in yourself that you can do this thing. And this positive growth type of mindset spurs you into actions, and you feel good because you feel the progress you're making. You acknowledge what you've done to feel this way, and you build more confidence and more self-esteem and self-belief and self-compassion and self-awareness and self-love. And you keep on this new path, taking better care of yourself, helping yourself to feel good each day, and you want more from your life. It is so powerful when you reach this place. This is the upward positive spiral. You are where you wanted to get to back when you thought you'd just have to stay frazzled and stuck and worn out forever. Back where you wished that you felt life was easier and you were more happy and filled with joy. You changed your life by changing your habits. Your actions have become those new habits, and they've created a life that feels the way you want it to be. And you feel like there's so much more for you to achieve and experience. And here we are at the end of the story. You are the character in this story, and your life has become so much more full and happier because you took control of it through your habits and lifestyle. The end, kind of. So in this story and many of our guest stories, this ending was shared, and their story often followed the script that I've just ran you through and told. Bit of fun, but it is true. I do absolutely believe that this story pretty much has the same structure and outline for every single one of the guests and clients I've worked with and people that I know. This is how it plays out. And as I told in that story, they were pushed into having to change because of being either so unhappy in their life or having a sudden health scare or issue themselves, or maybe something with a loved one, like the loss of a loved one, that triggered them to realise it was time to make the changes they thought they weren't able to make or didn't have time to make. In your own story, I want you to get this ending without waiting for something to have to happen to shock you or force you into making the changes you're putting off today. As you know, we're celebrating our first birthday in this episode, so think about your own birthday. Every birthday we get is an opportunity to celebrate the possibility and magic that is your life, your future, and what next year holds for you. It's about celebrating your existence and the fact that you're here, that you're alive. So don't keep letting your birthdays come and go and not see them for the huge privilege they are. They're a mile marker on this amazing journey we are all on called life. Make this year be the year where you grab that steering wheel to take control of the journey you're on and get yourself on the right path. And you don't need to wait for your actual birthday to make this the year that you are going to get back in the driving seat of your life. Make your next chapter in your story exactly the chapter you want it to be. There's so much incredible content for you to learn and be inspired by in our first year of episodes. Each episode has something that might be what you need to hear to help you take that first step to get back in control and write the chapter for the story of your life that you want to tell. This is what I want to leave you with. It is your story. You are the author. You're the CEO of your life, the chief executive officer. You can control how you get to live, even when times are tough and you face challenges, because we're human. We are going to have things come our way, our world. Each and every one of us will face difficult times. We're humans. This is how life is. But by taking care of yourself, you get to navigate those hurdles and kinks in the road a little bit easier, maybe in a more smoother way. Because when you take care of yourself and gain all of those incredible ripple effects that I talk about, like confidence and self-worth and feeling really capable, having great resilience, feeling energized, vibrant, and so much more, you can support yourself through the difficult and uncertain times and know that you're living in a way that is intentional and things will get better. You can still find moments of joy and happiness because you have those habits that help you to take care of yourself, mind and body. So, when life events happen that feel really difficult and unmanageable, things that you do to support yourself, like in both Kat and Sarah's story of such, difficult loss and grief, they had a very few number of things in their self-care toolkit that help them to be able to get up, to be able to still care for their children, to move through life, to go back to work, to connect back socially, and to gradually, step by step, move to a place where life became happy, joyful and full and much more manageable for them. Because when you are strong, you can support yourself to navigate and move through those types of times. When you are strong, you want to remain feeling that way. So even if you can't keep up with all your usual habits, like Victoria shared in her story, she adjusted and she picked just one, which was a habit that would really help her to stay in a positive, healthy place, to be able to cope with Georgia being in hospital very poorly for many months and beyond that. So it's about adjusting what you have when things are exactly how you want them to be, and just doing what is right to help you remain as strong as possible through those times. But because you were already strong to begin with and you have great habits, you can adjust and adapt and know that there'll be a time where you'll come back to picking up all of the habits you do want to have, because most of them are very much a part of you and your identity. So it becomes easier when the time is right to pick them back up and embed them back into your daily routines and lifestyle. This is the power of taking care of yourself. And this is what I've heard and learned throughout the past year and 53 episodes. So what's coming next? How can I top this first incredible year? I do have lots more to bring. We have some fantastic and inspiring conversations with lots of different guests planned up to the end of this year. We've got some amazing topics. October is a powerful month for health and women especially. We've got breast cancer awareness, we've got menopause awareness and the Global Menopause Awareness Day on the 18th of October. We kicked off the month last week with the amazingly inspiring conversation with Dr. Laura Boy around brain health and dementia. We're bringing you menopause and breast cancer guests as we go through the rest of the month. So lots of exciting things to come throughout this year. And if you are someone who yourself has a story to share on our podcast, then please reach out. I would love to give any one of you the opportunity to share your story and inspire even just one other person who may be in a similar place to where you've been and can learn and hear that change is possible through your story. So please reach out. Or maybe it's someone that you know in your network who has a great story to share. Send them my way. Likewise, if you are an expert or know of a guest expert who can help others to live in a healthier way and build new habits for a healthy, happy, strong life, get them in touch with me, pass them my details. And finally, I would just like to end with two things. The first is a huge thank you to every single guest over the past 12 months. I appreciate your support, your time, your expertise, your honesty and vulnerability that so many of you have been willing to open up and share. Your passion, your insights, your guidance to help others live a healthier life. Thank you. And secondly, I want to thank you for coming and joining us each week. If you're new to the podcast and this is your first episode, thank you for joining us at such an incredible point in our journey. There's so much more to come. Please, share what we do on the podcast, what we're about. And never underestimate what is possible when you take time to support and care for yourself. And listening to this show is a huge step in the direction of a healthier, happier life. So one last thing, please, if you do enjoy the podcast and the content that we bring to you, take a minute, give us a rating and review. You can do it on Apple, Spotify, any other podcast platforms that you're listening to. Give us a rating and review, because that will help massively to push us out in front of other people who haven't found us yet. And if you are enjoying it, share it, shout about it, tell everybody about it. Friends, family, the colleagues you have at work, even your hairdresser, whoever it is, tell them that we have this podcast here for free every week to help you live a healthier life now. So sending lots of love, gratitude and thanks for all of your support as a guest, as a listener, as a member of our community. And I look forward to sharing so much more over the next 12 months. Take care. Bye.